Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Now, do you remember this week when House Majority Speaker John Boehner decided to flip-flop and hand over a nice, clean DHS funding bill, effectively leaving Obama's executive amnesty untouched? Well, don't remember that? Well, that means you were probably just watching the mainstream media, which chose to focus over and over again on the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech before Congress, his nothing new speech that they played again and again and talked about for days. And that was the plan. Now, this is according to Politico. Boehner secretly negotiated with Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi for days leading up to this flip-flop decision, and that includes a pre-hashed out deal to use the hoopla surrounding Netanyahu's Tuesday address as kind of a cover-up, political cover-up, so they could sneak through this extraordinarily controversial vote. Boehner's office continues to deny that any such deal took place. Now, of course, at first glance, this looks like, just utter incompetence on the part of the Republican Party, because even as the majority there, they can't get anything done. But what this really proves is that they never intended to follow through and make good on their campaign promises in the first place, because they had already caved and gave the Democrats everything that they wanted, allowing the government to be funded through the fiscal year 2015, exactly as the Democrats put in place. And this supposed DHS funding bill was going to be their one, card that they would hold. And here we have Boehner quietly flip-flopping. There was no fight put up at all. And Drudge Report actually had an article out today that said Boehner has more allies on the Democratic Party there now than he does on the Republican side. So he's a very effective, controlled opposition. Now, here's one of the reasons why they might want to keep this a little bit hush-hush. Now, we reported that these newly documented illegal immigrants that are, going to be taking advantage of executive amnesty, they are going to be able to take advantage of a tax loophole to get benefits for the previous 3 years, even though they didn't have a Social Security number. Well, McClatchy, D.C. is now putting an exclamation point on that. They are reporting that President Barack Obama's executive order on immigration could mean refund checks for those who were in the U.S. illegally to the tune of $1.7 billion taxpayer dollars. $1.7 billion over the next 10 years that they are just giving away to people who did not pay into the system. And they'll be able to take advantage of that. So absolutely no accountability. And of course, no one's talking about that really in the mainstream media, because they are regurgitating the same speech that they're also saying in the same sentence is nothing new. Now, it's kind of like this whole Hillary Clinton email scandal. Of course, her scandals are nothing new, but the media has circled the wagons like they normally do to protect Hillary Clinton, saying she didn't break the law by using her private email, and everybody's doing it. And that's where they're really just going out and pointing out everyone that uses their private email. Well, now a former ambassador to Clinton's State Department says that he was fired for doing just that. This is former U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Scott Gratian, and he told the Daily Caller that Hillary Clinton's chief of staff fired him based on an inspector general's report, which found, among other things, that he routinely used an unauthorized email account to conduct official government business. Now, the report says that using outside email didn't adhere to department regulations and government information security standards. And the report goes on to specifically say that the use of commercial email accounts increases the risk for data loss, phishing, and spoofing of email accounts, as well as inadequate protections for personally identifiable information. So clearly there is a double standard here, because during the whole 4 years of her tenure as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton used a private email account to conduct all of her official and personal business. And get this, the White House, once again, the spokesperson says, I don't think that Obama really found out about this until he read it in the paper. Oh my gosh, how many times have they said that Obama didn't know about it until he learned about it from the media? This is Obama, who was elected largely on his internet prowess. He didn't ever receive an email from the secretary there in the State Department. Like, I'm totally not buying it. But here's a question. Do you think this whole email scandal is going to ruin Hillary's chances in 2016? Well, let's ask the White House spokesperson.
When personal email is used for official government business, it's required for that personal email to be stored, properly maintained, and preserved at the agency. And that, according to President Clinton's team, is exactly what they did. Which would
years later. Yeah.
So do you think that was a Freudian slip, or are they ready for Hillary, trying to get us all ready for Hillary? Now, Clinton has only sent out one tweet addressing this whole email scandal. Their theory is that her late Wednesday tweet asking the State Department to release the 55,000 pages of emails that she provided to the agency would start to calm the media and all the political tempest, while giving her spokesman an easy answer to many journalists' questions. Ask State. Her Democratic strategist said, "It makes sense to settle in a little bit. People have very short memories." But you know what doesn't have a very short memory is the internet, and we will never forget. Now, that's the big question, though, is where is the media? Obviously, some people are kind of talking about it on the news here and there a little bit. And of course, we're going to give kudos to that reporter that really went after the House spokesperson there. But why hasn't anyone actually specifically asked Clinton? We didn't even really have any media attacking her one single tweet on Twitter. No media is demanding that she answer this now. They're just pointing out how everybody uses a personal email, basically pointing out how everyone there is breaking the law and that they're all criminals. But Hillary is, the next future presidential candidate. Everyone's talking about her. So we really need to be asking these tough questions. But where is the media, right? Why aren't they doing their job? Now, she is going to be the keynote speaker at the aptly named Excellence in Journalism celebration, but she's not going to be answering any questions for reporters. So basically, she's just going to be given a keynote speaker. She's going to be given the opportunity to say her piece right in front of her prime audience, and they're all just going to be instructed to just bow down and not ask her any questions, about her possible presidential run. So far, the only media outlet that has even sent a reporter to go and stalk Clinton and ask her about these emails is TMZ. TMZ is like a paparazzi news site. They stalk celebrities, and they're the only ones that thought to go to the airport and get her when she's flying in. This reporter here asks her about the email, and she just smiles. She refuses to answer. And so that video is not even being looped on the media over and over again, just showing how Hillary is refusing to talk about this email scandal. Yesterday, a political writer declared Biden should run now. He should run now because this is the only way to know what Hillary is willing to risk. Hello? I'm sorry, but Hillary is willing to risk everything. She already has. We got Watergate, Travelgate, Emailgate, foreign contributions, Benghazi. But enough about her. John Bowne is going to get down and dirty and talk about another future presidential hopeful. This guy, he really wants to see Joe Biden run, so we're going to give him a little bit of that future presidential treatment.
Stuffed shirt political Yahoo writer Matt Bai has declared that Biden should run now because it's the only way to know what Hillary is willing to risk.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started. benefited from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
Mr. Bai, Hillary is willing to risk everything. She already has.
The secret White House email accounts.
Whitewater, Travelgate, Filegate, Chinagate, Benghazi.
What difference at this point does it make?
Self-respect.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Bai begins his ivory tower indoctrination with his full frontal assault on the stupidity of the slumbering masses of American voters. It's doubtful that many voters care as much about Hillary Clinton's State Department emails as reporters do. They're probably not too wound up over the foreign contributions flowing into her family foundation either. Mr. Bai, voters are concerned. The Quinnipiac poll isn't going to tell you anything when she is the only candidate. Just take a gander at any of the 8,038 angry comments responding to your elitist swill of an article. Since there are so many, here's one from 22 minutes ago. John writes, illegal email accounts, illegal fundraising. Why should we care about that? It's only nitpicky reporters pointing out the transgressions. I mean, we have a current president that uses the Constitution as toilet paper. So why should we expect any presidential candidates to follow the law? I need to remind you that we are talking about Democrat candidates. Republicans can be vilified for 30-year-old supposedly unpaid parking tickets or for knowing a guy who knows a guy that knows a guy that is off color. Matt Bai's byline should read DNC hack. But enough about the comments and Hillary. Let's get down to anointing his supreme eminence, Vice President Joe Biden.
Neil Smith, are you here, Neil? Neil, I miss you.
The creepy, plagiarizing liar hovering over what's left of our Bill of Rights. Mr. Bai continues, Biden has a well-known tendency to get caught up in the moment and say things that are impolitic or even partly untrue, which in Washington tends to make you a figure of ridicule, though in most other places it's known as having a pulse.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. It cannot measure the health of our children, the quality of our education, the joy of their play.
This is how it sounded when Robert Kennedy said those words in 1968.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play.
There was more. A videotape caught Biden at a neighborhood coffee in New Hampshire making exaggerated claims about his college record.
Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class.
In fact, as Biden finally conceded, he finished near the bottom of his class.
Mr. Bai, what other places? Hell? Shouldn't that statement be the other way around? Biden once claimed almost exactly what Brian Williams is sitting at home drinking beers on his lonesome couch for. Bai continues. Biden's a middle-class champion who makes the case for economic fairness with more conviction than Clinton and less vitriol than Warren. He's a serious thinker on foreign policy who opposes rampant interventionism without sounding like a pacifist.
How they can justify raising taxes in the middle class that's been buried the last 4 years. How in Lord's name can they justify raising their taxes with these tax cuts?
Vice President Biden just today said that the middle class over the last 4 years has been, quote, buried. We agree.
Bai ends with pure sycophantic glorification. I'm in it to win it, was Hillary's garish bumper sticker when she entered the 2008 race. Her party deserves to know that she isn't running again just because her path is clear, and Joe Biden has more than earned the right to stand in it. He's earned the right to stand in something else.
In time, democracy can be delivered to the Ukrainian people.
Joe Biden's son accepted a position with the Ukrainian gas company as private citizen, and his dad does not endorse it. I mean, this is just so outrageous that the globalists are involved overthrowing Ukraine, and then they would put his son in as one of the top executives to rake in just unbelievable amounts of money. And then they criticize Putin for being involved in the government investments. Yeah, it's wrong. And it's just openly done, and now we just accept the governing class will own the state-controlled blocks and make billions of dollars and just laugh at us. And that's not an economy based on products. It's not, or on innovation. It's based on Joe Biden's smiley-faced son. I mean, I look at him and he makes me sick. And communism doesn't exist, folks. It's just a thug system where you tell the general public, oh, you're going to share all the things and we're going to get the rich people. And they go rob the nouveau riche. They go rob the real producers, who I'm sure aren't perfect in most countries. And they replace it with something 100 times worse.
The 2016 presidential election is shambling down the old spy grid, inebriated on false promises that deliver high premiums. Meanwhile, President Two-Face has crowned his cranium with his pen, phone, and our tax dollars as China and Russia ditch the dollar our grandparents fought to make almighty. America is on life support. We need a real American to stand up and take the reins.
Give me another good reason why you shouldn't run.
I can't.
Yeah?
There may be reasons I don't run, but there's no obvious reason for me why I think I should not run.
Run, Forrest, run!
John Bound for Infowars.com.
The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com.